Welcome to the Planetious Leaders Walk the Talk. I am Rohit Korat, the founder of the Planetious Leaders series, where we celebrate the inspiring leaders who are driving positive change towards a more sustainable future. Today we have with us Mr. Saurabh Mehta, who is a founder of Note, No Offense to Earth, leading the world first plastic-free pen. Saurabh, can you share the story behind founding Note and your vision for creating the world first 100% biodegradable pen? What was the key insights that sparked this mission?
Hi, Rohit. First of all, thank you for inviting me and letting me speak about what we do. So, Note, which is no offense to us, we wanted to make products which are truly sustainable, and we would want, which we can call like eco no-brainer. Like there is nothing that you can doubt about. So so what we had done differently is we have completely removed plastic. So the story is such that like I've been in the sustainability space for about 15-16 years now. And about in 2016, I came back to Delhi, joined my family business, which was plastic ball pens. And these ball pens are also called as use and throw pens, right? Like disposable pens. That's the term, and like that's which is sad. Like you are calling items of which are actually meant for educate, like it's an educational tool, and you're calling them disposable use and throw. Like I mean, that's the terminology, and that's the mindset people have about pens. Now the problem with pen is that there are so many different parts which makes it impossible to recycle. There are different types of plastic. There is metal, there is ink, and there's spring, there is rubber. Like there's so many things, and it's such a tiny product. So it's like 7-8 grams in total. If you break down all the components, you're left with nothing that's worth recycling. So nobody recycles it, and of course it's not biodegradable. So like it will be there on the planet forever. In fact, like 80 years ago, when plastic and when ball pens came, they were a great innovation. But the plastic problem, which was not a problem back then, now with 50 billion of these being made every year, it's a huge problem which is ignored. So what we realized is like there's so much discussion about plastic pollution, right? Like plastic bags being banned at times, plastic straws having alternates. Straws and pens, if we compare, the problem in terms of the size is quite comparable, but pens are not spoken about because we don't have an alternate. So, and that became an escape for industries, for people who are in this field to not really do anything about it. Plastic straw had an easy alternative. Plastic hai, usko you just replace with paper. But in our case, like it just like didn't happen. Like nobody was really serious about it. So we discussed with several people, like if there is a way out, but it felt like nobody wanted to do anything about it. So we thought like, okay, like in that case, we'll have to work on this problem. We'll have to figure out a way. And we started reducing the plastic content. And even when like there was like 10% left, it was not satisfying. Like you don't reduce plastic. Because even if it was 1%, the difference is infinite times between 0 and 1. So it was important, like how do you eliminate plastic? And we realized it is possible. So yeah, that's for like last 4-5 years we've been experimenting, figuring out how this can happen, and like finally this year we got the solution. Now it's all about like how do we accelerate the production processes, how do we reach the market.
Yeah, great, amazing. Yeah. So tell us more about like the innovative proprietary technique you use to create the paper-based refill cartridges for your pens. What were some of the technical challenges you had to overcome to ensure ink doesn't leak, maintaining the biodegradability?
Right. So one thing is that like, so the design is very simple. If you think about it, we haven't changed anything in the product. When I say the product we're talking about is the pen. Pen is actually the ink and the tip, which unfortunately is just 5% of the product. Rest all is plastic to just hold this together. You write with the ink in the tip, right? तो plastic का तो कुछ काम ही नहीं है pen में. So we didn't change the pen. वो ink and the tip is the same. The 95% plastic, we brought that down to 0. So which doesn't affect the writing at all. Right, like the ink is the same, tip is the same, which will last. So the challenge was when we started with recycled paper. Now we're exploring more materials. So when we use recycled paper, I mean the obvious thing that will come to your mind is कि ink तो paper में वो उसको absorb करेगा, and that's what inks do. That's how you write. But in our case, we put a oil barrier, which is vegetable oil. So it's like edible level component. So that's the material that we're using on the paper inside in the inner layer. So which does, so once treated and like letting dry and like which takes some time and certain number of steps. So once that is done, then your ink doesn't go inside the paper. So that was the thing. And I mean, of course, there was challenges because you need that precision in a writing instrument, because like 2.0 mm is 2.0 mm, not 1.95. In that case, the ink will come out. So plastic is like strong and flexible. Paper is not. So how do you like ensure that the tip fits correctly, those kind of things? So the last 4 years, we did a lot of experiments, like the ink was drying in 8 months, 10 months. So those kinds of, and you need for industry, like industrial standards are like 18 months. So for a good pen, you need 18 months of shelf life. So now we have achieved that, like which took us really long. And also to figure out, like, so one is like to make a prototype which functions. So that happened long ago, but to now be able to make this at scale. So we're still figuring it out. Like, so every month, I would say we become a step better than what we were. I mean, and I'm pretty positive, like in 1 or 2 years, we will be able to produce like really big, good quantities and at a very competitive price as well.
Okay. So how is there any challenges with respect to the grip of the pen, or like when we like, because like normally when we write it, like we have the different grips in the markets right now. So how do you overcome this part?
Yeah, so that's a perfect question. So grip is the challenge. Ergonomics, that's a challenge. And it's not a challenge because our pens are poorly designed. It's that over time, because in the conventional pen market, you have hundreds of options. And over time, you get used to a certain kind of a pen. So let me ask you, what pen do you use?
I have Cello Technotip, so I'm using that.
Exactly. There were 100 options there, but you chose this particular one because it suited your style. For us, that's the bigger challenge now, because we have to ensure that you have, Rohit has certain requirement, Sarjeet has a certain requirement, Shivani will have certain requirement of the kind of grip, and we will need many options. So now we're figuring out, like, ergonomically which 5 or 6 designs can fulfill most of the requirements. Because so far you might have seen like a lot of eco-friendly pens exist in the market, but mostly people are buying this for novelty purpose. Like, it's exciting. Like the story is nice. For real change to happen, we'll have to make it ergonomically correct. It has to write well. It has to feel good when you hold it. You have to feel comfortable. All those things have to happen. Otherwise, it will all be a novelty stuff. People will buy once and like they'll say, okay, good job. So and that's not going to create any impact. What we are trying to do here, Rohit, is like in maybe 10-15 years from now, there shouldn't be any plastic in any writing instrument. And for that, people have to adopt it. Like, they have to like it, the way it writes, the way they hold it, like all those things have to be correct. Otherwise, it's a failure.
Absolutely right. So I see a lot of changes are going on, like with respect to the sustainability and so material usage, like, and each and every area of like our life is like a lot of things are happening, and so it's a great that like we are having this kind of pen, like so amazing.
I'm excited about it.
So I am a like graphotherapist, and so I have this pen. Like, why I'm writing with the same pen, because of the reason like I'm having that kind of the nails, because like like there is a science behind like having the pen for each and every the person, like as per their nails. So I'm a handwriting analyst, so I know the type of pen like to be used, like so
Yeah.
that's the reason the grip idea like came to my mind, like so how to overcome that. Yeah, okay, so
That's
going for, yeah,
so that's a
yeah,
big. So I mean, so far I was thinking like, okay, ये वाला technology हम लोग figure
uh,
out करके we'll solve the problem, but that's just half the battle.
right, yeah, absolutely right. So going forward, beyond paper pens, Note has also introduced like eco-friendly products like bamboo and marble pencils. Like, what was the thought process behind diversifying your sustainable product range, and how does it align with your overall vision?
So there are two verticals. So one is so like going beyond the conventional pen. So is that like we so it's not only about ball pens. So
Yeah,
the so writing instruments compose of like it's a big industry. Ball pens is one. Then there's gel pen. Then all the coloring sketch pen, marker, highlighter. They all have alternates. So we are all like when it's not there in the market. Like nobody's really working on it, but we are designing solutions for all of them, even for pencils. So we'll be coming up with like the truly zero waste pencil, hopefully in the next 6 months. So like and there plastic free highlighters, all these things are there. So there's like extension of like going beyond just ball pens.
yeah,
We realized that so if like currently we are thinking of like targeting the mass market like eventually, but then like let's say so if I launch a 20 rupee pen in the market, right, like eco-friendly, a lot of people will buy it. But if somebody wants to really talk about it or gift someone, they won't gift a 20 rupee product, right? Like, so we will need something which is like 100, 200, or 500. So
yeah,
there's a different category, or it's a project that we have launched with the same pen, but we are giving it an outer covering with which is celebrating India's art and craft. So like handcrafted products on a
yeah,
zero stick pen.
right,
So, yeah, I mean, like just the thing about this is like how many art forms does an average Indian know about? Indian art forms, maybe one or two. मधुबनी कोई बोल देगा, कोई वर्ली बोल
right,
देगा. That's it. There are hundreds of them. So so I think like and that's very important because like and if they're not celebrated, they're not like spoken about, they'll die forever. So we thought like maybe with this like project, if we can give it a new life, we want to promote the art and culture, art and crafts of India. So yeah, so that we're launching by the end of this month itself. So 25th there's a gift expo happening in Delhi. So
right.
we'll be presenting these for the first time. So mostly for gifting purposes.
Okay, so as an entrepreneur in the sustainability space, like what have been some of the key challenges you have faced in scaling a business model that prioritizes environmental responsibility and affordability? Have, how have you navigated these obstacles?
So Rohit, I think when I started in 2016-17 with the stationery space, I back then environmental awareness, the problem was
Yeah,
was a, was a challenge because not a lot of people were talking about it. 7 years from then, today, that's not the case. So people understand that plastic is a problem, that environmental degradation is happening, climate change is real. So we don't
yeah,
have to talk about that. So the emphasis on problem, sorry, is not that important. Now people are like, ठीक है, problem है, अभी बताओ हम क्या करें. So that is one good thing. So we I have seen like how things have changed in the last 7-8 years. So that's one to our advantage. And the second is clearly, and which is there's no denying and there's no problem in actually that in that thing, which is people don't want to pay a premium for having a sustainable alternate, right? So like maybe 10-20%, that's fine, but paying like 3-4 times more, not happening. Very few people will do it,
yeah,
and those few people are I mean, it's important to have जितना भी लोग आए अच्छा है, but
uh,
you for actual impact, you have to cater to the masses, and that's why the costing will always be an issue. Now, costing for the end product is high currently, but if you think about it, like the raw material in our case, in our industry especially, is actually cheaper. कन्वेंशनल इंडस्ट्री प्लास्टिक पे काम कर रही है आज, पीपी 9500 रुपीज पर केजी पे है. हम लोग रिसाइकल पेपर से काम कर रहे हैं, विच इज 30-35 रुपीज पर केजी. So that way it is cheaper, the raw material cost. Ink and tip are same, तो वो सब भी बराबर है, but the processing cost, so converting paper into those barrels to a pen, that's currently high. And why is that high? Because only 5 years have been spent in developing those systems. That industry is 80 years old. Over time, it like cost पहले ऐसा नहीं था कि हमेशा से ही इतना सस्ता था. Even if you account for inflation, आज 5 रुपए में अगर 5 या 10 रुपए में पेन बिकता है, तो उसके हिसाब से उस टाइम पे पेन 20 पैसे का बिकना चाहिए था, बट ऐसा नहीं था, तभी भी वो 5 रुपए का ही बिकता था. So the industry evolved, the scale was there, the better machinery ecosystem evolved. Similar thing has to happen in our industry, and we'll be able to break the price point as well. We'll be able to compete there as well. But for that, everyone across the value chain has to realize and put in resources, put in money, invest, like be interested. So from raw material supply to manufacturing to distribution, across the value chain, everyone has to get involved, equally involved. जैसा वो 80 साल में बॉल पेन में प्लास्टिक बॉल पेन्स में हुआ, वो हमारे में होने. But we don't have 80 years. Yeah. We have to make this happen in the next 5-10 years. So चीजें वही. So I mean, like, of course we can't take 80 years, but like 10 years, can we really make an impact? So that's one. And cost is definitely one factor. And what you pointed out, functionality. Right, so pen में अगर बात करें, there are two functionality. Like one is the writing, like the quality of writing and the experience of writing. So both have to go hand. Just because eco-friendly है doesn't mean कि तुम functionality में इधर उधर कर दोगे. So उस case में ये. So I mean, people will buy the story. Okay, lovely idea, world's first zero plastic pen India से बना है. Okay, we buy. But unless they enjoy writing with it, not going to. I understand that part very well. So yeah, so those are the things that we realize कि क्यों cost आज ऊपर है, कैसे नीचे आ सकता है, वो भी समझ में आ रहा है. Why is it high, and yeah, ways around it. So yeah, like over time, like a lot of things we learned. Initially there was not really any support. लोग नहीं मानते थे कि there is any requirement for this in India. इंडिया में काम ही क्यों कर रहे हो ये बाहर. People will understand all these things, so maybe just target the market outside of India. Like all those things used to be there. But yeah, like I think it's been a fun journey. Like there's so much to do, and when you talk like working to solve a problem, there is so much to do. So you never really idle, right? Like you're always पूरा समुंदर भरा हुआ है.
There is an abundance, like, so we have the abundance.
So much opportunity.
Absolutely right. Okay, so you are passionate about nurturing like environmental awareness, especially in children. Can you share some insights into the educational initiatives or materials you have developed to inspire the next generations to connect with the nature and embrace sustainable solutions?
I mean, this is actually a very interesting part. So as a pen company, it's not really, as a stationery company, like you wouldn't really think, but I personally spend at least 4 to 5 hours a month interacting with children, understanding what's their take on environment. And then there's this concept of biomimicry, which is taking inspirations from nature. So I mean, I'm a student of biomimicry myself, and I try to put that out and like inspire children to understand the concept. अभी तक जितना भी हो रहा है, so like environment education, like I mean everything that's happening, it's great, but it is like we are learning about nature, not from nature. So the moment that shift happens, we see wonders. So like I've seen like kids coming up with such brilliant ideas which you will not see in textbooks. So I keep drawing this comparison. Let me try this first. So ऐसे बच्चों को बोलते हैं कि like in a tree in textbooks you'll talk about ये पेड़ का नाम क्या है, where is it found, इसकी applications क्या है, इससे फर्नीचर बन सकता है, इससे ये फ्रूट मिलेगा, all those things. So very factual information. But when you start, so this is like learning about nature. But when you do learning from nature, you look at the same tree and realize like how every leaf is utilizing the non-living elements of the planet, of the earth, like sun, water, to make food for the planet, everyone else on the planet. वो उसको इस्तेमाल करके बना रहा है, वो उससे एनर्जी ले पा रहा है. The water is going from underground to the top of the tree. हमारे घरों में उल्टा होता है, वो पंप चाहिए होता है उसको, ऊपर क्यों जा रहा है? So that is what will make you curious. तो उसका स्ट्रक्चर कैसे इतने सारे पत्तों को सब इतने बड़े पेड़ को सपोर्ट कर पा रहा है? Like there's so many things if you just look at it. It's a technology powerhouse, and similarly everything in nature. So I try to abide by the principles of nature, like that really help you design better products, understand things better. Zero waste, of course, is the very basis of everything that we do. And like similarly, there's so many things, and so like we spend time on making products. So I make like card games, I make storybooks. So like last year I did like 3 storybooks which were all like around inspiring children to learn from nature. So like the entire idea, how do you simplify biomimicry for children, like gone through stories and games. So yeah, it's like it's fun.
Yeah. Also like biomimicry and like so this like very inspiring like to know about these things like so what are some of the key lessons you have learned as an eco-entrepreneur and you would share with the aspiring to start their own other aspiring like entrepreneurs to start their own sustainable businesses? How can they balance innovation, environmental impact, and commercial viability?
So one is like don't. I mean, we all have to realize this, including myself. We can't only play the sustainability card and be alive in the market. Eventually, it will be on the functionality and the pricing. People will have to will ask for value for money. So far, I think like a majority, I believe, is buying these products for the novelty. So that shift will happen soon, and we as producers have to be ready for this. So just playing the sustainability card is not going to be enough from here onwards. So functionality is big, and we have to think of scale. So which is I mean it's the sustainability product industry especially is considered like handicraft or handmade and all, like that's an excuse to do smaller things and at a higher cost. So which unfortunately is not going to create the impact that because of which you started working in this space. So like functionality, scale, these two things for sure. And third, I would say, is patience. So you great things take time. Like nothing happens overnight, or एक साल 2 साल कुछ नहीं होता. Like 10 साल or maybe 20 years, that is what you will require to make change happen. So you be persistent, लगे रहने का है, and like those things are important. Like so, patience has to be there. I if I think about like even for myself, like the removing 10% plastic to come 10% plastic ही बचा था. I mean, we could have stayed there, but we spent 4 years to remove the balance 10%. So and that was all patience, and we tried everything, and like it took. इसमें like every time we had to test कुछ भी model revise करा, that itself take 4 months. तब 4 महीने में पता चला कि इसका shelf life actually होगा कितना. तो कितनी बार हमने पिछले 4 साल में. So but yeah, like I mean so patience is crucial. Patience and like persistence. So yeah, game तो लंबा ही है ना. मतलब it's a never-ending process. And also, like, one has to realize that sustainability is not a destination, right? Like, it's a journey. You can only make more sustainable products. You can never make the most sustainable product. So even the pen we have today, like, that's not the most sustainable. I know there are possibilities. Next will be maybe doing other material, maybe improving upon the ink and the tip. How do you further improve? So it's an like never-ending process. So persistence and patience, you cannot do it. So yeah, so like if I summarize, so functionality is important, scale is crucial. Only then you can come like get a good competitive price, because without that you're not going to sustain in the market. And third is like having that patience, to have that patience and being persistent towards a goal. Yeah.
Okay, so looking ahead, like what are your future plans and goals for the Note and your other sustainable ventures? Like, where do you see the greatest opportunities to drive positive change through innovative and nature-inspired solutions?
See, for me, I mean, the next few years are all about writing instruments, so ball pen and others, because see, currently the entire industry in the eco-friendly industry is hardly 1.2 or 1.3% of the conventional, like the amount of sales that we are doing, all of us combined. So that numbers are uh, abysmal. Like, I mean, it's unfortunately it's nothing, right? Like, there's no impact happening. So you really have to either convert those in the conventional industry to collaborate or take up these technologies, or these production techniques and material. And other is like for us, people like us, to really scale. 1-2% से हम लोग कुछ बदलाव तो कर ही नहीं सकते. So I mean, so the idea is like, how do we, I mean, so for me, it's all about like, how do I at least take this number to double digits in the coming 4-5 years. So that should be the target, and that cannot happen by myself. Like, there have to be other people in the industry who will have to with whom I'll have to work. We'll have to work together, realize the potential and the problem that this could solve. So yeah, so तभी कुछ बदलाव आएगा ना. वो 1-2 से कुछ नहीं बदलने वाला.
Yeah, it is all about the teamwork.
Yeah.
Okay, so thanks a lot. Like, so we had a great conversation.
This was good.
Yeah. So this the Planetious leaders, like the reason behind, the purpose behind like having this session is like we want to educate people about the like different like products and the pressing challenges that we are having. Like, so we want to like make people more aware about it, and so like we want to give the platform like where people can get to know about the sustainable products and the other challenges that we are having. So that's the reason this is all about. So it was wonderful session. Like, so thanks a lot for joining this session. So like I'll be sharing this like this whole video edited version, and you can just go through that. Like, if there is any edit required from your side, then we will do that and we publish on our platform like as soon as possible.
It was lovely. Thank you very much for inviting.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks a lot. Okay, thank you.
Bye bye.
Yeah, bye.